All right, so let's go ahead and do parts 1 through 6. Let's get this going. That'll do. All right, so for part 1, I'm going to do this just additive by creating a sort of center part that is this size right here, and then connect it with a sloped line and just extrude it, this middle part that's too wide, and then create this sketch on the front and extrude that out too, and do the same thing on the back and extrude that out too. And you can check the dimensions with your green sheet as I do this, or as you do it, but I'm just going to go ahead, and I know that this way is 5. And remember, when you're doing line tool, it's make a line, dimension it, make another line, dimension it, not like rectangle. That is a lot better at guessing. 9 across the bottom here, 7 this way, and then a sloped line connecting. And then we'll finish sketch and extrude it 2. Okay, and then a sketch on the front. And we need a line that goes from the top edge to the bottom edge, but not the exact center point of either. And this one is 3 from the side. And this one is 5 from the side. And we can finish sketch and extrude that 2. And then on the other side, you could do the exact same by putting a sketch there and doing the line and dimension it. But you can also use project geometry and click on this face, and its edges will pop over to this side, and you don't even have to dimension it. Extrude it out 2 inches. There you go, that's part 1. Part 2, we're going to start with a basic block that is 4 tall and 8 wide, and then extrude it 6. So go ahead and start with this. And since we're sketching on the front, that's why I'm doing the 4x8 dimension. Dimension 4 this way, 8 this way, finish sketch, zoom out, extrude it 6. And then the other part feature is the cut, and it's a line from the front to the back edge. And on this side, it's 1 inch from the side, and on this side, it's 5 from the side. And on that same sketch, it needs to be on the same sketch, otherwise it's not going to count as a closed loop. We have another line that goes from here to here, and this is 2 from the side, and this is 3 from the front, but that's the exact center point of this edge, so I can just snap it to that. And so I need a new sketch. I'm going to spin it around so it looks like this. And we need a line that goes from the front edge to the back edge. This one is 1 from the side, and this one is 5 from the side. And then we have another line from this edge, and we can just go ahead and snap it to this exact center point, that green snap, save us 1 dimensioning. And the distance from there to there is 2. Finish sketch, extrude, choose that, switch it to cut, but only cut 2. And that's part 2. Part 3, do this in 2 steps. 1, I'm going to make a wedge shape that's 5 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 this way, 3 across the top and sloped connected. And then I'm going to put a sketch on the back and make a rectangle that is 3 by 3 and extrude it forward 3, which will probably make more sense when you see it. So we need a line. This way needs to be 5. Remember, line dimension, line dimension. This way is 8. Line this way is 3. And a sloped line, we know where it starts and where it finishes. Finish sketch, home to zoom out, extrude. There's only one thing to extrude. You don't need to choose it. And it's a extrusion of 5. And then to do that wedge part or that step part, I'm going to spin it around to look at the back, start a sketch on the back side, and get a rectangle that starts down here. And I'm not going to snap it to the edge. It will end up being there, but I'm just going to put it there so the dimensions don't mess up. And it needs to be 3 tall and 3 wide, and finish sketch. Go to extrude, choose that. Switch direction. Okay, this is different. Flipped is different than cut. We want to flip. Sometimes when you hit flip, it will think you want to switch it to cut, but you don't. Okay, so you need to, this is why you're looking at it from a 3D view, because if it switches to cut, it's going to do something else. So we want 3 and like that. And there you go. That's part 3. Part 4. Okay, this is definitely going to start with a big chunk and then cut away what we don't want. The first step is going to be, what is our width? 3 to 6 this way, 5 this way. Excuse me, 8 wide, 5 tall, and 5 deep. Okay, 8 wide, 5 tall. And finish sketch, extrude 5. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is 2 sketches on the top that will make these 3x3 rectangles, but they need to be on a new sketch on the top that's like this. And then we'll cut in 3. So put a new sketch here. Again, I'll rotate it this way so I can see what's going on. One rectangle there, another one here. Let's dimension 3 this way, 3 this way, 3x3. Finish sketch, extrude, choose this, switch it to cut, and only cut 3. Then we have one slope face here that we're going to put a sketch here and then draw a line that comes across, which is just going to connect this point to this point and cut extrude all the way over. And this one, we're going to put a sketch here and draw a line from this corner up to here, except one in. So it's going to be 2 more cuts. We'll put a sketch there, get a line, and we should be able to get a snap there exactly on that spot, and might get one there. Yep, we do. Finish sketch, extrude, choose this, switch it to cut, and cut all. 3 is fine, anything longer than 2. And then for this one, need a line that goes from this corner right here to somewhere on the top, but not the exact middle point, because it needs to be 1 from the side. Distance from this endpoint to there should be 1. Finish sketch, extrude, choose this, switch it to cut, cut all. Okay, that's part 4. Part 5 is a little trickier. I'd say it's the second hardest on the page beside 7. The way I'm going to do this one is with, I'm going to start by making this shape, which is actually a simple combination of a 3x6 rectangle. And on that same sketch, before I do any extruding, I'm going to draw a line from the center point straight up a distance of 2. And once I have that, I know the end point, starting and end point of both of these lines, and extrude it the whole way. And we'll worry about the sort of front door situation in a second. So new part, start a sketch, XY plane, rectangle for the main part is 6, well, yeah, it is 6 wide and 3 tall. And on the same sketch, we'll get a line and we'll find the exact center point. That's why it's useful here, that green snap, and go straight up, dimension that to 2, and get a line that connects this endpoint to this endpoint, and then another line that connects this point to this point. And if you've dimensioned everything as you go, it should say fully constrained down here. And we can do an extrusion and set everything to, make sure you choose everything and extrude at 8. And for this front part, there's a few ways to do it. But the way I'm going to do it is put a sketch on this face, which is like right there, and draw just the bottom rectangle, which is 3 tall and 4 wide, and extrude that out. And then on top of that, I'm going to make this triangle and extrude it back in. The thing about this first rectangle is we know it's 3 tall from the bottom. We know it's 4 wide, but we are also going to have to dimension how far it is from the left. And you'll always know you're missing a dimension if there are green lines or it says 1 dimension needed or something like that. So let's get a rectangle, snap it somewhere to the bottom of this and somewhere to the top of this projected face. And you can see how tall we've made it. And to dimension it, if you try to dimension the width by putting your cursor there, you're going to get the entire edge and that won't work. You need to do the same type of 3-click dimensioning we do for line endpoints, where first click here, second click there, third click in between. Okay. And we have the height and the width, but we need to know where it is left to right. So same thing with 3-click dimensioning. First click on the side of the rectangle, second click on the side of everything, third click in the middle, and it needs to be 2 from the side. And you can see where our sketch is. We'll finish sketch, extrude this, and it extrudes 2. And now to do the part that goes up, the sort of pitch part of the roof, we're going to put a sketch on this face. And from the exact center point, go up 1.5, and then connect down to the corners, which will be like this. And then do an extrusion, and we'll do a different type of extrusion where it's, instead of choosing a distance, you're just going to say it's a 2, like TO, like extrude until. And so from here, we need the exact center point going straight up. And let's dimension that to 1.5. And then we need a line that snaps at the endpoint to the corner, and another line that snaps to that endpoint to the corner. And we'll finish sketch, extrude, choose this, choose that, switch direction. And yeah, 2 is this one. And we want to extrude until it hits the roof. Okay, if you did just distance, you could have it so that it's far enough to go in but not past, but this is like the pro way of doing it. And that is part 5. And then the last one for now is going to be part 6. And part 6 is very similar to part 3, where we do a wedge and then an extrusion, except it's a cut extrusion. We're going to start with the full wedge, which is 5 tall. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 across the bottom, and 1, 2, 3, 4 across the top. And we end up extruding it 5. And so we need a line. Dimension this 9. Another line straight up, dimension it 5. And a line here, dimension that 4. And then a line that connects endpoints. And we'll finish sketch and extrude it 5. And let's spin it around because I want to put the sketch on this face to do the cut extrusion. And the cut extrusion is a rectangle that is 3 by 3. And if I look at it this way, you can see where we're actually sketching on the left side. Finish sketch, extrude, choose a rectangle, switch it to cut, and cut through all. And there you go. There is parts 1 through 6. So if you're trying to work on these on your own and you're having an issue, pay attention to the browser bar. What is most likely the case is you have like an unconsumed sketch or something like that, where you have done, you made a sketch and then you didn't do anything with it and you made another sketch, and that's why something bad is happening. You can always right click edit the sketch or right click delete the sketch. So there's that. All right, let me know if you guys have any questions.